going back, man, I want to stick to, the foundation of who you are, because there's so many kids that are listening right now, and parents that are listening. I want to talk about the foundation, or I want to talk about your experiences in select baseball and in club baseball. Let's talk about that, because we hear a lot from parents who are a little torn on, do I want to get my kids into club baseball? Do I want them to play multiple sports? What were your thoughts and your experiences in playing club?
And before you answer, what is select? For somebody's listening to this, they don't even know what that means. What is club? What is select baseball? What does that even mean?
Yeah, so like select, the club baseball, whatever you want to call it, it's just kind of, that's your travel team. And so that's the team you're kind of playing with throughout the summer or throughout the spring if you're not in high school or whatever, if your middle school doesn't have a team. And so that's kind of the team. It's almost, nowadays it's pick and choose pretty much, but then kind of they would have tryouts back then, and then you made a team do this or that. They still do that, and so that's kind of how that works. But with my experience, like growing up, I always try to do as many sports as I could, and I think that trying to be as athletic as possible helped me, and that's something my dad always kind of told me. And so whenever growing up, I'd play 7-on-7 as early as I could. And so I did that. And then whenever in the fall, sometimes our baseball team, we would have a basketball team. Like our select baseball team would have a basketball team. So we did that kind of at a younger age and did that a little bit during the fall. But we still had fall baseball and stuff. So, but that was, I think, something that benefited me playing football till my freshman year of high school, and just get your mind off baseball for a while, because I've heard so many stories of kids getting into high school and college and they're just burnt out because that's all, not even them. That's all their parents wanted them to do was just do that. And then if that's their choice, that's their choice. So I think it's more so it got to be the kid's choice in the long run, because you don't want them to be a stud all-star baseball player, but then they're a junior in high school. They're like, I've been playing this since I was 7 year-round. I'm burnt out. And so –
one of my best friends growing up, that's how he was. He started specializing early in life, and by the time we were in high school, he was like, I'm done. And he was a great player growing up. And so I'm glad you said that was your experience was, no, I want to play everything. I want to be as well-rounded of an athlete, because, again, the tendency is to think, if I want to be great at something, that's all I got to do is do baseball. But what your experience was, no, those other sports actually enhanced it. And, again, I want to reiterate, you were the number 2 overall pick. So clearly it worked for you. And so parents out there listening to this thinking that you have to specialize there. Now, I'm sure at a certain point, and correct me if I'm wrong, at a certain point in high school, maybe you only played baseball. Is that right?
Yeah, it was more I think after my freshman year, sophomore year was kind of whenever.
Right. But until then, you were doing everything.
And there's like the opportunities with doing things with USA Baseball, and then other things throughout like the fall whenever I couldn't play football or whatever. And then in Texas, football, obviously big sport. And they have the summer workouts, summer 7-on-7, and then you got the fall the season, and then you got spring ball. And so it's kind of a year-round thing. And then I did track in middle school too. I think that was during the spring, but also it's during the week and during school, just to kind of help you build another. And I think team like having the teammates and everything, those are the biggest things, like all types of sports. And building teammates through football, baseball, track, basketball, I think that you can kind of just makes your friend group bigger, but it also makes your just learning about life even more, and just building those relationships with those guys too.
So, through everyone's life, there are adversities, and maybe I didn't experience yours and see yours firsthand, but did you ever go through any adversity, maybe it be in high school, where you struggled and you thought, like you actually second-guessed yourself to think, well, maybe this is not what I want to do?
I honestly, one of the biggest things that I went through in adversity was kind of whenever I quit football. My freshman year, I literally, I think my dad was actually a little bit upset with me with doing that, because I've never really quit anything, and I didn't want to be known as a quitter or whatever. And so it was after my freshman year, and I got banged up a little bit here and there, and then I went to my coach's office, and I had tears in my eyes. I've never had to do that. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play, whatever. And then I told my mom, I didn't put football in because you had to put your classes in so early. I didn't put it in for my next year, and I was just kind of distraught, I'm done. I'm done with football. And I honestly, growing up, I thought I was going to play both, maybe in the NFL, MLB, do that. But then, yeah, so just that was something that was kind of like, wow. And I felt like I was letting people down because I know my coaches wanted me to play, and they were always asking me throughout high school, hey, you want to come out? You want to come out? And I was just like, sorry. It's just I had to make – and then that was like a decision I made. It's really set up for baseball. Like now that's done, I'm really going to try to get after this baseball thing, and that's what I kind of did after that. But that was something that really was hard for me. And then that as well. And then – it was 2000, I think 16 or 17. I was going to be a junior, and then the USA team happened. And so I actually got hurt. I had something going wrong with my wrist, and so I wasn't able to make that team. So I'd have been an underclassman on the 18U national team, and they were going to Canada. And just that was something that kind of like set me back, like, wow, injury. There was an injury little thing, and then I saw them, they went out, they won gold, and so that it kind of motivated me, like, oh, next year I want to be on this team, next year I want to win gold, and that's kind of what happened.
Was it a chip? Like you put a chip on your shoulder?
Yeah, I think so, both with that and then just quitting football. Like people are saying, oh, you shouldn't have quit or whatever, but then it was a chip saying, watch, I'm going to do this in baseball now. And so that's kind of how I took that, and as well as with the injury, like this happened, so now I'm going to build off that, and I'm going to make this happen.